This conference will now be recorded.
Okay.
All right. Calling to order the Library Advisory Board meeting on Monday, January 25th at 5:30 p.m. The members in attendance are Cinda Combs, Jennifer Johnson, Angelica Johnson, and Donna Wortell. And also we have Leslie Johns as our city liaison and Jason Makoviak. Will Allison be here, Jason?
She should be. She has her Poetry Critique Society, but she was going to phone in, so.
Okay. She'll maybe come later for the programming portion, right?
Yes.
All right. The first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes. Does anyone have any correction or addition to the minutes that were emailed?
No.
If not, may someone move that we accept the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes from last meeting.
I second.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor? Raise your hand. We can do that, except Angelica can't, but I bet you're in favor, Angelica, right?
I say aye.
All right. There we go. Minutes approved. Item 2, correspondence and communications and the chocolate tasting update. What's new, Jason?
Well, I was hoping Joan would be here since she's the president of the Friends, but the long and tall of it is that, so this year's chocolate tasting, which is the 30th year, by the way, which is amazing in itself.
Yeah.
That's somebody's coming.
It's got to be the longest running, one of Bisbee's longest running fundraisers.
Yeah.
But for this year, they are partnering with See's Candy. See's Candies has a fundraising arm of their company, which when people order through the Friends to order chocolate, they get 100% of the profits. So I'm going to be sending out on Wednesday in the library newsletter information on that, and it is live on the Bisbee chocolatetasting.com is the website for that, and there's links to go and purchase See's chocolate candies. So they also have an option if you yourself do not enjoy chocolates, you can actually sponsor a box of chocolate for some of Bisbee's first responders. So what they're asking is that you just purchase it and send it to the library, and then the Friends will collect it and distribute it out to those people. So there's options for a little bit of everything. So sad that we won't have it in person this year, but totally understandable, and I guess we're kind of getting used to that. But at least we do have an alternative, and we can still raise money for the library. So, and also in the newsletter, I'm going to talk about everything that the Friends have done just during the COVID-19 pandemic and how they've supported us. So people can get an idea of what supporting the Friends can look like. Hey, Will.
There's Will Grunland. You could unmute your microphone, Will.
There you go.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you. Apologize for being early.
Well, you're here. That's good. So, Jason, is that all for number 2?
Yes.
All right. Number 3 is call to the public, and I don't think we have any.
No.
So I'm going to suggest we move on to old business. Number 4 says that we have no old business either. And then number 5 is the meat of the matter, the state of the library report by Jason. First
Okay.
is on COVID.
So I don't feel like this will be too long, but I'm just going to run through some of the updates that I do have. Our COVID-19 response update. We're still going really strong with curbside pickup. You know, we're still adding new patrons to that. I'm still making new library cards for patrons via email, and then sending them back the information that they need to place holds and to download the e-content. And our COVID programming is still going strong. We've got, you know, to date, I think at this point, our brown bag craft kits are over 1,000 that have gone off of our balcony. Yeah, just absolutely amazing. It's a new one every week, so you know we advertise it as such. So we've got kids dragging their parents to see what's new with that.
That's pretty amazing, and that everybody's gotten used to just picking it up right there at the balcony.
Yeah. And actually I see a lot of, especially on Fridays, we have a lot of tourists that come up, and you know, they're welcome to take them too. I think it's cool that people are taking pieces of the library back with them wherever they're from. And we've had such great success with our adult teen craft kits over the holiday season that we're going to be putting out 3 more for February, March, and April. February will be a Valentine's themed one, and we're thinking gardening for spring. We just, Kathy just placed an order of seeds sponsored by the Bisbee Bloomers. So we're going to be doing our seed subscription again for our seed library. And again, last year, I think we had about 80 participants, and we probably sent about 800 packs of seeds out. So we're kind of bracing ourselves for another spring like that. Had such a great positive response from that. It actually, you know, gets people outside, gets people gardening, really healthy things to do. We also have our adult continuing adult lecture, Tuesday evening lectures. Allison's got some new ones lined up that are going to be coming out. A couple weeks ago, we did Roger Naylor. I don't know if you guys were able to tune in for that one. He's the travel writer. I think he writes for, the Arizona Republic. When we had over 80 participants on that Zoom, he has quite a following. So he posted that to his Facebook page, and that's how we got such a great number. But another really cool COVID response thing is that people from all over the state and sometimes out of the state get to join our programs now. So
Yeah.
that's something that we are going to stick with. Even when we are back open, we're going to be filming and archiving our programs to, if we can't do it live, we can at least archive it up to our YouTube page. Speaking of YouTube, we put together some more videos with Yotaki. We've got we're just like on a health and wellness roll, this whole COVID-19, and Yotaki's been great on doing different aspects of how to stay healthy during this time, both, you know, mentally and physically. You know, we've had our exercise, Qigong, she's done meditation, and we're coming up with a new thing called a self-esteem passport that we're going to be unveiling next month. And that's got 4 corresponding videos that go with that. So it's just kind of a fun thing. We're kind of gearing it towards teens, but just to, you know, really work on yourself and be proud of yourself and your accomplishments, whatever they are. And I'm really excited about that program that we're going to be launching. Love Letters to the Universe. If anyone's been up in the balcony, they see our great display wrapped with lights, which is completely full of love letters to the universe, which, you know, when we do programs like this, we often wonder, like, hey, is anyone going to respond? Is anyone going to do this? And we had such a great response with that. And again, we've had tourists and visitors come up, use our balcony, see the display, and just sit there at our little table that we have out and write one and put it up. So just really great positivity going out there with those letters. And I did scan them all, and they are all archived on our website. So people that aren't here can read them. And then moving on to B, our E-rate proposal. So E-rate is a federal program that offers highly discounted internet services to libraries and schools. It's a process, but we're ready for it. And what we do is we work with the Arizona State Library. They've got a list of contractors. We use their contractors list to send out proposals for internet services, and then we file with the U.S. government for those discounts. And for Bisbee, they're going to be 90% discount on internet services.
Wow.
That's based on the school lunch program with the Bisbee Unified School District. It's based on a poverty rate. And what that means is that we can get high-speed internet, possibly even fiber. We just started this process, but we know that fiber is nearby. We believe the bank across the street has it. Anyway, so once we apply for this E-rate, we can have that brought to our building and then have that discounted rate of high-speed internet, 90% discount for a recurring discount. So each month that we would only have to pay that 10% of that cost. So a lot of questions, we have to figure out. Obviously, we're going to ask for a range of internet speeds because they do get really expensive, and we still have to make sure that we can afford that 10% of whatever that service is. So I will keep you posted on that, but that's extremely exciting. It's, with internet speeds, I think we're always playing a catch-up game, and we did just, increase our speed slightly, I think last year for last year's budget, but we just can't, we can't get there without this program. And we've got support at the Arizona State Library that's helping us along the way, just making sure that, all of our I's are dotted and T's are crossed. It's a very specific program, and you have to meet deadlines and make sure things are submitted, and but it's all doable. And so that's extremely exciting, because once we do reopen and all our kids come back and start playing their computer games, it won't bog down the system for the rest of us. So
and so Jason, I have a question on that. Yes. Does it have to then go through the company?
The what, Angelica?
Not work. Is it going to be going through, are they going to be paying through the company you're using now, let's say Cable One, or how? I don't understand how that works, because we only have so few options here.
Yes. So logistically, there's going to be two options for us. It's going to be, I can't even, is it Cable One now, Sparklight, and?
Yeah, whatever.
And the other one, CenturyLink, is?
Yes, CenturyLink, and they're just putting down fiber optics right now all over town.
Right. So those are probably going to be the only two that respond, but these companies also, they work with this program all the time, and it's something that they know how to do and what to do, and they get paid the rest of that. They get paid that 90% from the federal government. So they're they're going to want to help us, because they're going to make more money. But yeah, it's either going to be CenturyLink or Sparklight, who probably, that submit to our proposal.
Okay.
So with the Arizona State contracts, we can directly approach these companies. We don't have to go out to bid because the Arizona State Library has already done that for us and for anyone else who wants to use this program. So it makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, statistics. We've got checkouts are hanging strong. It's about 2,500 checkouts per month, just with curbside. That is down probably from about 5,000 if we were to be open to the public. But honestly, I think that's a really good number. If you ever come up to the balcony and see our table, it's filled with bags for people to pick up. And that is, we bend over backwards to get people to get materials into people's hands, and we've got people that call that aren't connected to the internet. We call people when we know our patrons when new books come in, and we're excited to let them know. We call them and be like, hey, do you want me to put some books out? Always with the disclaimer, if you don't like it, it's not my fault. So yeah, we've retrained people. I think they're used to it now. And again, it's something that we probably will continue with in some capacity to offer that curbside pickup even when we are back open, our building's back open. That's an option for people to use it that way.
And I really like that you're picking books for people, because for me, I've gotten some books from you that I personally would have never picked that I've really enjoyed.
Ah, see, that's right. It can go either way. But that's interesting. I'm glad for that, Angelica. So our YouTube channel is. We're still adding content, and we're still getting views. Our Zoom story time, we do that every Friday at 10:30. That's had very low turnout, unfortunately, but understandably also. That's a hard one. It is screen time, and I think a lot of parents want a break from that. But we are still continuing to offer it. We do get every once one or two kids to join us, and we're going to make another push on that and promote that. We are looking forward to the day that we can maybe meet in a park with a book and just do a very short story hour outside. So that's all based on when it's safe to do that. And I know that parents miss that as well, and that was a really story time is also a social time and a networking time for parents. So fingers crossed.
Do you have a count, Jason, do you have a count of the people that go directly to YouTube and get the ones that you've recorded?
Yeah, so YouTube keeps a running count of all of our views, and we can also, we stopped putting story time up on YouTube because there are copyright.
Okay.
In the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of publishers lifted those copyright rules and allowed people to post their story times, but that ended. So
okay.
We can't really do that.
I just might mention another interruption. Sorry. That phone call I got a few minutes ago was Joan. She thought it was on Zoom and is now trying to connect with the GoTo meetings. So she's working on it.
Okay. So staffing wise, yes.
Quick comment on that. I'm thinking of the books in the park for kids. PBS Kids has a excellent online resource for educators, and of course libraries could use it, where they make recommendations for reading and reading hours to get kids active and moving. And so of course they try to have it be based on PBS shows and
Right.
books and whatnot. But you certainly could get it could be an idea source for you.
That's a great,
because,
yeah.
yeah, the whole premise of PBS Kids is about getting kids away from the screen versus
Right.
on the screen, which it seems counterintuitive, but it's a doctrine of their, sort of their corporate philosophy.
That's a great idea, Donna. We are always looking for, different organizations that are lending support in different ways, and that's perfect.
Yeah, it could be like a Daniel Tiger treasure hunt, something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, if kids aren't, the key is to get them reading no matter what. If they're using our YouTube channel, it doesn't matter. If they're using something else, like that's all we care about. And that probably has been the biggest struggle is reaching kids. And we advertise book bundles. You don't even have to tell us titles. We'll put together a selection of books, and we do have some parents that do that, but we always want more. So, we figured when we do in the park story hour that we would just put together bundles, put them in bags, and you get what you get, and we can give them, check them out and give them to parents. Moving on to letter D, staffing. We did lose Samantha Gerlich, our
Really?
early literacy coordinator. Her and her husband are starting their own business, so she left on very good terms. She actually set us up. She was the one doing all of our videos and brown bag craft kits, and she set us up for months of content. So she was fantastic, and so we'll continue to have things to share in terms of preschool programs. So we are just taking a pause right now before we post any job position or hire anyone until we can get a better understanding of when we are going to be able to reopen, and also to save some money on the budget. As you can probably realize, the city is maybe not collecting as much revenue as they normally would under normal circumstances. So we figured that this is really a good time just to pad our budget a little bit. So as we move to looking at a reopening date, whenever that is, we will look on rehiring our early literacy coordinator. We've got we've got big plans when we finally reopen, so we will need all hands on deck.
Are you still using volunteers?
We're not during this time. We have a select few. We do have someone that comes in and helps process the new materials, wraps the books, and someone who has been working on putting together our brown bag craft kits. But other than that, no. We're handling everything that we can.
Yeah, it's just sometimes I've seen people in there that I know don't work there, and so I was wondering and wanted to ask.
Yeah, just a select few, but yeah, we're trying to keep our volunteers safe, and and they do miss being here. Okay, so moving on to E, facilities update. We do have we've chosen an architectural firm for our historic structural report. And they are, let me get it, Poster, Myrtle, and McDonald out of Tucson. So we've got that through the city's request for proposal, and the city manager and I narrowed it down to this architectural firm. And so we're really excited to start work with them. I think they just signed the contract. So what this does is that they will give a complete structural and engineering report with cost estimates on any repairs and concerns that they find with the building. This does not cover any kind of cost to actually do the work. This is just for them to tell us what's wrong with the building. Not that we're thinking a lot is wrong with it. There's some issues, especially on the back of the building, with repointing of the concrete blocks, and the windows dry rotted, and there's some surface cracks on our balconies. But they need to come in and actually look at what's causing the problem and how to fix it. So this also comes very exciting. It comes with a whole historical narrative of the building. So they have someone on their team that will actually do as much research as they can on the building and how it fits into our community. So just curious as to see what they come up with that.
Cool. That's cool.
That was something that was not offered in any of the other proposals, and we were really excited about that. So I will update you on that as it, like I said, I think that they just did sign the contract, so they probably will get started relatively soon, and they'll put together a really nice package, and we'll see. From there, we will have to then apply for grants, probably with USDA rural grants and the more state historic preservation office grants. But getting ahead of ourselves. Maybe they'll say like, oh, nothing needs to be done, and this will stand for another 100
in business years. You're kidding, right?
Yeah, I'm kidding.
Jason, have the bats come back to the attic?
No, actually, interestingly enough, this has started my own kind of research on the building, and I was able, we want to put together eventually a really comprehensive, fun history of the Copper Queen Library throughout, its whole, from the very beginning, 1882, all the way through with the bats in the 90s, how the bats had gotten so out of control in the attic that, the Friends at that point harvested all the bat guano and had a fundraiser called Biblio and sold bags of bat guano for Bisbee Gardens. But I found a lot of really interesting anecdotes and just things that have happened in this library. So, and with this firm's historical report, what they come up with and what I found could make for, a little historical book on our history. But I want to include it because we all, when like Bisbee historical books always stop after a certain time, and we want it to go up to present day, and someone then can, follow along and, continue the tradition. But, a lot of interesting things, like especially like the bats. It was such an interesting thing that happened here, and just the library coming into the computer age, which really wasn't that long ago. I mean, that was the automated library system only started, I think, in 1996. So yeah, I think I don't think we can forget about the, most current history, because there's some really cool things that have happened, including us winning Best Small Library. I mean, that's got to be in it.
Yes, for sure.
So programming, there's one thing I did want to mention. We are applying for, it's a $25,000 grant to the Arizona Community Foundation. And this would be for development of the patio. A patio doesn't exist, but the land that is right behind our annex building. All the back doors open up to an area that's about 30 feet deep to about 80 feet long. And we've come up with plans to create in that space a very versatile outdoor preschool patio that this grant happened very, very fast. We were approached by this foundation to write it over last weekend. We wrote it. They had some more questions. We answered their questions, and we'll find out very shortly. But it's a really cool space. The science lab also uses that space. So the versatility of this patio would incorporate, sections that are not developed and are just a pavered patio, a nice level ground where tables can be brought out, with umbrellas. And we have incorporated a AstroTurf area that we can do preschool yoga, preschool movement exercises. And we've also incorporated an area for gardening and for archaeological digs. And then we also have an area that has a little stage that we could do puppet shows, story hour, and also equipment that we can, show movies outside. So it's all COVID based, and it's also, things that we can continue on when we do have, are reopened. But this is such a great opportunity, not today, but generally we have, weather where we can be outside. So this is just kind of taking advantage of a space that's already there, but is just really a blank slate. The school district is really excited about this potential, and as well as the Bisbee Science Lab. So more to come on that, but it's a great, we have big plans for the space that's behind the BUSD's administrative building. That used to be the school playground and athletic fields. And I know the science lab is working on a big grant to get that started. But our patio project is a great starting point because it is directly right out our back doors. And then the rest can be kind of, built and envisioned from that. So I think it's a great resource for that area. San Jose doesn't have any public park, and really, now that we open, at least we have a public meeting space for people. We did expand into that second classroom, and we do have more adult space now dedicated for our adult patrons to congregate, meet, and use that space. So I'm very excited about that patio. It's been fun kind of putting together a budget and possibilities of how we can put that space together that could be used by not only the preschool, we call it the preschool patio, but it's the versatility of it will, open it up to anyone who wants to use an outdoor space. And as far as programming, I guess Allison did text me and said that she was trying to call on. Allison, are you there? Not sure who this caller 01 is.
Might be
I'm
Joan.
on a phone. I'm on the phone, Jason. That's the best I could do for now.
Oh, there's Joan.
Joan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Joan.
Hi. Hi. Hi.
So as far as Joan, did you hear my the preschool patio?
Yes, I heard that discussion. Okay. That's where I came in.
Okay. So programming beyond that, we are working on summer reading already. We are planning for another summer reading mail-in subscription, but we're also planning on the possibility of doing impromptu programs over at the annex. They wouldn't necessarily be planned so far in ahead, but it's something that we could wing if it's at that time safe to meet in person. But it would be in conjunction with the summer reading mailing subscriptions. Last year, we had, was it 75 participants, and that was a record for us for summer reading. And so we're going to go to something similar with that. We're going to be looking to Freeport MacMoran to see if they would like to fund that again this year, as well as the Friends of the Library support. They supported that as well. And like I said, we're getting ready for our seed subscription when we get our seeds in and packaged. And we're also planning, this would be the inaugural year of what we call branching out. We're going to be working with the Bisbee Bloomers to offer free trees for people to plant for Arbor Day, which is in April. We're going to start small. We're going to be looking at working with a local nursery that grows all their seeds from trees. It's called Parkland. They're down between Bisbee and Douglas. And they grow, obviously, trees that do well in our environment. Anyway, we want to start probably just with 50 trees this year, small. It'd be a subscription base. People would sign up for it. It's almost like, we want them to, people that plant the trees, we want them to nurse them and take care of them and actually grow them. So we want to make sure that our patrons are, it's kind of like the animal shelter. It's like, you put a reference down and they call you and be like, hey, would this person be a good tree, a tree lover?
You could do a riff on Dr. Seuss and make it like the Lorax Society, because the Lorax spoke for the tree.
Oh, I like that, Donna.
Yeah, so, and he's kind of a free spirit anyways, so that could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so this again, it's in April. It's for Arbor Day. Other organizations, Tucson's got the Trees for Tucson, and we just kind of want to start something and maybe grow it each year and get more partners and see what we can do. I think it's kind of a fun way to again bring in the outside and also really talk about the beneficial aspects of trees and shade. So.
And people would.
Yep. Who was that?
Angelica.
Do people?
You broke up there, Angelica.
I said, do people plant them in their yards or in public spaces?
We want to start with yards, and we thought, if that it could grow, we could work with them. We could work with the city parks and public works department. If there's a park that needs trees, we can look into that. Do you have an idea, Angelica?
Yeah, because I think that we do have a lot of public spaces in Bisbee that could use some trees. Yeah. Not necessarily even in Old Bisbee, but San Jose is so flat and has no trees.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. We were like, well, if we end up with a bunch of leftover trees, we'll just plant a forest, down at the annex and just start. But yes, I like that idea, Angelica. I think, more trees. I think, if there's student well here, they're drought tolerant once established. I think it's a win-win,
Well, you know what, Jason? You could correlate the tree planting thing with the archaeological dig you got planned, because you're going to have to salt it with something for people. So stuff that people dig up when they're digging their tree holes, they could sit over for the archaeological dig behind the annex.
Oh, I love it.
I'll get that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a really great idea. I was just thinking of just like burying, plastic toys and stuff for them to find, but that's even better, is to find real things that are
real stuff
on Bisbee yards.
Yeah, real stuff. Well, yeah, I found them.
I like that idea, and I belong to the Arbor Day Foundation, and so maybe I could help also get in touch with them, with the library, to see
Oh,
what
yeah.
they can do for us, because they do this
Absolutely.
all over the world.
Absolutely. And Angelica, that could be just, informational brochures, benefits of planting trees, anything that they can offer, that we could give away in conjunction, with them, and just to spread the importance.
Yes, well, I will give you some brochures from them so you can get in touch with them.
Awesome. Thank you. So that's my library report. Do you guys, I have an other for G, if you guys have anything you'd like to discuss.
Jason, I got a question. Is there a process for, I mean, a couple of times in your report, you talked about how you're going to be needing money for this, money for this. Is there a process whereby just a private citizen can donate or request that goes around the city proper but just goes to the library? Is there a process?
Yeah, you can work with the finance department of the city of Bisbee. There has been people who specifically donate to the library, and our donation funds stay with us. They don't disappear into the general fund. If you donate, there's two options, right? If you donate to the Friends, that goes to the Friends, and then, they use it to support our programs and services. And if you, bequest something to the city of Bisbee on behalf of the library, that stays. That's our money that can be spent only on library stuff. So, yeah,
Okay.
those options are really viable.
Okay.
Right, someone just donated money. Actually, I should have mentioned this in our programming update. We're putting together 3 temporary story walks. They're just on yard signs, like a picture, like a political sign that goes in someone's yard. But they're pages of a book that have been laminated, and we're doing 3 of them. We're unveiling 3 of them in the next month. One in Old Bisbee, one in Warren, and one in San Jose. 3 different stories, 1 bilingual story, and then we'll switch them up and switch them out, and then we'll switch the park. So they're going to move around, and the stories will rotate as well. But it's a really inexpensive way to do a story walk. Story walks are sometimes those permanent installations with a signpost and a placard that your pages of the book go on, which are permanent. These you can just move around. They're temporary. We talked to Jesus Harrow, the Public Works Director, about putting them in the parks. He loves the idea. And they're easily switched out, and each page also contains a little prompt and a little question that we ask. It could be something based on what's going on in the pages of the book. One of the books that we chose for the first round is, again, centered on health and wellness. It's called Yoga Friends, and it actually shows you how to do yoga positions with your friends. And so our little prompts are more on, mindfulness and listening, and, close your eyes, listen, what do you hear? Do you hear a bird? So we should be unveiling them soon. Our laminator unfortunately broke this week while I was doing them, so delayed slightly, but we'll get them out there.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have any comments, concerns?
Jason, I did miss the part about the chocolate tasting update. So I assume that you talked about it and told the folks where they can.
I did, but if you want to add anything, Joan, I also.
Well, just it's obviously all online, and if you go to the library website, you can see the beautiful picture that is celebrating the 30th, our 30th annual chocolate tasting fundraiser. So, but if you go to bisbeechocolatetasting.com, that link takes you, or that address takes you directly to where you can buy the chocolate from C's, and it will be available. This program will go through February 28th. So
And
you can send it to yourself or to relatives, or if you want to send it to the Copper Queen Hospital, you send it to the library, and the friends will take it to the hospital, to the frontliners as a gift. They have been very supportive in the past.
So Joan,
yes.
We got 3 boxes at the library today. Is that what that is for, the people who are sending it to frontline workers?
Yes, that would be my thought about it. And I think I'm not in charge of the paperwork, but I'm sure, you know, Kathy Clifton would know, okay, what people sent it to the frontliners.
Okay.
And by doing that, they sent it to the library. So she should have those addresses and people. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Right. So, you know, I think there'll be advertisements in the Observer and online for the Friends and for the library. So, and I've put up a few posters. I put the one poster at the Copper Queen, you know, at the post office the other day, and it's in a plastic sleeve, so hopefully it won't get too wet. But anyway, there are some posters, and you can look around for them or just go online.
Very good.
And I will mention that I explored the choices, and it's not just the standard box of See's candies. There's quite a variety that you can choose from, including all toffees. So I was very, and while I have your attention, I'll mention that Angelica just called to say that her internet went out, so she's no longer with us. But there was a power surge, apparently.
Yeah.
And thank you, Cinda, for answering my call when I realized that I wasn't going to be able to get on. So thank you.
Well, you got on, and that's great. Yeah.
Well, I'm on the phone, so that's important. And again, if you don't, as far as the chocolate tasting, if you really aren't interested in chocolate, you can just send a donation to the Friends of the Copper Queen Library. And we're grateful to have that also. You don't have to buy chocolate.
Very good.
Okay, is there anything else under other or for the good of the order, which I never have fully understood?
The only thing I know for that is the next meetings. That's all we've ever used it for.
Okay.
But we do. I have it for the year. We've got April 19th, July 19th, and October 18th. Those are the meeting dates for 2021.
Would you say those again?
Oh yes, April 19th. July 19th.
Okay.
And October 18th.
October 18th. Okay.
Okay.
If there's anything else, speak up now. Otherwise, we're likely to adjourn.
Well, thank you, Jason, for your hard work.
Thank you, Jason. Yeah.
Thank you, Jason.
Yes, you're doing a wonderful job.
Yeah. Don't you ever sleep? Because it doesn't sound like it.
Yesterday was the first day that I said, it's so cold, I'm not doing anything, and I honestly barely did anything. So I can do that.
Good. That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay, I assume everyone's in favor of adjourning.
Aye. Favor.
Aye.
Okay.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Adios.
Thank
Keep
you.
warm.
Bye.
See you in April. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Good.
Okay.